Hello and welcome. My name is Buchi Lenore and today we're sitting down with SHONIBARE. She's the founder and CEO of IO Furnitures. She started her career as an interior decorator over 25 years, but today she is one of the leading manufacturers of furniture in Nigeria. Mrs. SHONIBARE, please, thank you for taking time out for being with us today. Can you walk us through your journey from an interior decorator into this huge factory that we're sitting in today?
Oh gosh, how much time have I got? I studied interior design in Italy in from 1982 to 1984. I came back to Nigeria and joined an architectural firm in Kaduna called Habitat Associates. I worked with them for exactly 1 year and then decided to do my own thing, primarily as an interior designer, working with local manufacturers and occasionally importing furniture from recognized suppliers abroad, mainly from Italy. And you know, that's I did for a while until furniture was banned in Nigeria. I had to rely more on the local content, but it was so difficult to find manufacturers in Nigeria that were producing good quality furniture that you were proud to be associated with. Delivery timelines were never met. Quality control standards were just not acceptable. So it actually forced me to set up, that was what triggered the idea of setting up my own furniture manufacturing company, just so that I could control the production process and the quality of the furniture that was being produced. But I never had any intention of going into manufacturing. It just was not in my cards at the time.
So what has the journey been for you so far, being a female, owning this kind of company? We've seen men being the one doing the 90% of the furniture making, even from the cottage industries. But here you are doing all of this by yourself. You've gained ground and you've worked with a lot of bigger organizations like hotels. How has the journey been for you so far as a female?
Life is a journey. One's career or profession or work is just an aspect of it. You're constantly faced with challenges, and I suppose your ability to deal with challenges or issues really depends on your on one's perspective or attitude towards life. And I've just had the same attitude and philosophy towards life. You either have a very positive view of life or a very negative one. You either decide you want to play a victim or you want to forge ahead. Will the challenges come? They will. Will the issues come? They will. Recently, a friend of mine posted on our WhatsApp, it's never about whether your cup is half full or half empty. Bear in mind that it's always refillable. So if you adopt that sort of approach or philosophy that things will go wrong, you will have hiccups, you have challenges, just pull up your socks, sit down, think about a solution and forge ahead. Luckily, my upbringing is such that my parents always taught us to have that problem-solving approach to life, because we have no control over what life is going to throw at you. What you can control is how you choose to respond to it,
yes,
how you choose to perceive it, and how you choose to tackle it. That you can control.
The industry you're in is competitive based on who is on the playing ground. How have you been able to manage competition? We have other manufacturers. There's also the importing companies, people who bring in furniture from different parts of the world. Well, I've looked around your showroom and I've seen the quality of work that you churn out. How are you competing with the imported products and the one you make here by yourself?
Do you know, it's also about determining what drives you. It's never been the competition that drives me. I've never looked back to think about, who's following closely. The other philosophy that I drive with my staff is we must always focus on giving it our best. So the focus is on making sure that we do not compromise our own quality. Forget about what the next man is doing. If your focus is on doing it well, giving it your best, making sure that you're using the very best of the raw materials, trying to ensure that you completely capture the market, the trends, lifestyle, what's new now, what's trending, what do people want, being constantly engaged with our clients and customers. That's the focus, not my competition. It's always been about the customer and satisfying the customer, meeting the customer's needs. That's what drives us.
I've looked around and I've seen that you love color. So how do you make a decision on what direction to take in terms of strategy and positioning of your brand? How do you make that decision? Is it what the consumer wants or what the market trend is saying or what you think the client would require?
I think it's about marrying a marriage of all three. You've got to take a look at what's happening globally now, our lifestyle, urbanization, the emerging young middle class, how are people living now, and trying to marry and fit all of those pieces together. For instance, 20 years ago, plasma screens didn't exist.
True.
Everybody had this huge entertainment unit and space for the TV. That's gone now.
Yes.
So you've got to be constantly abreast of what's happening out there. Technology is a huge influence. These days you're watching movies on your iPads, on your laptops. So you've got to look at lifestyle. What are people doing? Another example is the dressing table. It's no longer fashionable. How many homes have dressing tables today? Very few. I don't know any. Nobody. Women don't sit at their dressing tables anymore to wear their makeup. They're standing, they're in a bit of a hurry. Then the bathrooms, they just want that nice, really good, friendly mirror. So those are the influences that you have to make sure that you're constantly abreast of, that will determine how to position yourself, position your brand. The other big influence in this environment is us Africans, where we are very colorful. We Africans love color. So you've got to also, again, it's an influence. So you've got to take that colorful aspect of our culture and infuse it and imbibe it into our furniture and interiors.
Once those decisions are made, you've come to a conclusion, this is what you want to project in your category or catalog. How do you then source the raw materials? Are they 100% Nigerian made? How do you get them? Or do you have an infusion of two cultures?
Whatever it is, of course, our first choice is whatever is available locally. Anything else, anything we can't find here, then we bring in, we import. But we make sure that we do not compromise the quality. We're very, very clear about where we source our raw materials from. We make sure that we meet environmentally friendly products, so, because we have to we have to become very conscious of the sustainability and how waste is managed and the impact production processes are having on your environment and how you manage waste efficiently.
In terms of talent, do you use expert traits in order for you to impact knowledge? We already know that this is your passion, this is your drive. How do you then choose a team that works with you? Do you go just local or you bring a little bit of both into the play?
We do have the expatriate content, but the expatriate content is primarily for knowledge transference, to transfer the technical skills, to transfer the technical know-how. So we've got a training scheme and program that it's informal, that we make sure is used and applied in our production in the factory.
Okay.
And in here. The other thing that we've done is, because interior design isn't a subject that's taught in schools yet, formally or in a regulated manner, we actually have an internship program that we start in January, and we run it for the year, where we identify architects especially who want to study interior design. They would rather pursue a career in architecture rather than interior design. And we take them through all of that. And what's nice about it is they work in an environment where it's not just, you don't just focus on design. It's design, how the items are produced, and then it's taken to the site and it's installed and kitted up. So they learn the entire, it's a very, very holistic approach to interior design and space planning.
How have you been able to cope? How has IO Furniture been able to cope? And how is the economy helping to push this brand? Because now what I see is a company that has huge potentials. You've been here in this factory for 25 years. So what are your growth strategy? How is the economy helping, and how are you going to get there?
Well, we're going through a very challenging, difficult phase right now. We're really seriously hoping that it's just a phase, that it'll pass. How are we coping with it? I think it's just by, you just continue to do more of the right thing.
Okay.
Of course, we're starting to look inwards and trying to source what's available locally. And that is where sometimes the most exciting ideas are born or made. So I tell my team that we're in this exciting phase.
Yeah.
Are we going to sink or are we going to swim? We choose to swim. So let's sit down, come together, and think about ways to either modify our furniture based on what's available locally without compromising the quality, compromising the design, and making sure that we, most importantly, keep the client's requirements in mind.
In terms of visibility, IO Furniture, if nobody ever told me this is where you are, I would have driven past you. But I've seen across the world manufacturing companies, furniture manufacturing companies, having showrooms outside, where maybe in the business district or in residential neighborhoods, so that people can see what they have. I've not seen that with your company. Is this deliberate?
Yes. I just find that, given technology these days, you don't require that much of a physical presence anymore. We've got our showroom here with our factory, and we're trying to drive our presence more on social media, Facebook. We've got a website, and we've got all of our products on our website. We're trying to, it's work in progress to try and get into some very interactive exchange digitally, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, to make sure that we stay engaged with our clients and prospective clients. So I don't know that. I think more and more the way the world is going, that physical presence isn't required. You want to cut back. Everybody is trying to manage. It's becoming very cost conscious, and you're trying to manage your resources and manage and cut costs. So maybe apart from the IKEAs of this world, you will find that more and more people will have, they may have the warehouses where for purely storage purposes
and distribution,
and for storage and distribution. But I think it's going to be more of a digital engagement where you get your clients to send their floor plans, give you a brief, and you respond digitally and give them virtually and give them all the various options that's at their disposal and send that out. I think that's the way it's going.
Beyond the Nigerian market, where else can we find your company, the footprint?
Accra.
Okay.
And we've got a client who's got a place in Guinea that we are currently working on. So we're hoping that very slowly and gradually we spread to West Africa. And who knows, and then Africa. And I'm sure coping with Africa as a continent is enough to keep me going for the rest of my life, or what's left of it, because we are looking at a population of a billion. And if one is to go by statistics, young, emerging, middle-class market, the potential is huge.
Looking at the quality of what you produce in-house, wouldn't a consumer in the middle class see you as elitist? Is there any plan for IO to also break that? Not necessarily, because I don't think that's how you position yourself, but would you have a plan to say, okay, I need to also focus maybe on the mass market and give them something of a good quality that they can handle?
What's elitist and what's mass market? I don't know. You know, when Apple set out to produce its mobile phones and the iPad, I don't know, is the focus on mass market, elitist, or you're focusing on just making sure that you put good products out there? Yes, I'm not saying that price isn't a consideration. The pricing element to a certain extent is not in our control. Why? Whatever the cost of the good quality raw material is, we don't compromise on. We allow that to drive the pricing. What I have realized from my experience is people aspire. Everybody wants that good quality product in their homes, in their offices, in their environment. So it's more like I can't afford this now, but if I work hard and I save in 6 months, in a year, I can. Having said all that, our prices are competitive. We're not, but we don't want to deceive ourselves and say that we are for everybody.
How have you been able to access funding to keep your company going?
I'll tell you, 2 things happened that really assisted us. The Central Bank Intervention Fund and the Bank of Industry that set up the single-digit interest rates. Without that, I don't know that we would exist as a company, because there is no way you can sustain a manufacturing industry and you're paying a double-digit interest as high as 26-27%. Is just not sustainable. So I think that's really I actually know that it's one of the best things that best policies that the government actually came up with, the BOI and the CBN Intervention Fund. Talking
about policy, what other policies have government put in place to help this industry that you're in, to help it grow? Not just manufacturing, but furniture making.
What have they put in place to make it grow? I know that government is trying very hard to encourage local industry. There's still a lot of work to be done. I believe that a lot of their policies need to be reviewed. Interest rates, infrastructure. They need to work, just make sure that the power sector is established. That alone, believe me, will increase the industry or growth of it by about 30-40%. So they do need to, there's a lot of work that needs to be done with ensuring that there's that infrastructure. But I believe it's something they're working on it.
What does IO Furniture do for corporate social responsibility and giving back to the society?
Several things. First of all, I'm on the board of Whisker, which is something we're very, very passionate about. SOS, Save Our Souls, we contribute. Occasionally, the Faith Foundation, I'm sure you know what they do. And the other thing we're very mindful of is the environment. Making sure that we only use products that are biodegradable and do not affect the environment or pollute the environment further. But what I am most proud of, or proudest of, is the internship program that we set up here for aspiring interior designers, because there's just nowhere for them to go
get this capacity
though
building.
there isn't. So we just identify that the person is keen, is interested, has got the right attitude, and they come in here and learn firsthand for a year.
I always ask this question. If you take a look back and then you see a younger you, what advice would you give to a younger person?
Several. 3 things. Dream big, big, big. Start small.
Okay.
Because I find that this generation they're in a hurry. They want to get there quickly. They want to make the mega bucks. No. Dream big. Tell yourself you can achieve anything and everything. The sky's your limit. Start small. Take it step by step. Build it slowly. The second thing, work like your entire life depended on it. You've got to be focused, you've got to be disciplined, you've got to be committed, you've got to be consistent. Lastly, get that financial literacy. I think that's our greatest failing as entrepreneurs or women starting out in business. We don't have that
education
grasp, or we're not educated or informed about how finance works, when you make the money, how to make money work for you. I think it's the one thing that if I knew then what I know now, I would be retired.
Oh wow!
And sipping, cocktails on a beach somewhere.
Very interesting.
I would
so,
be.
What do you need in order for you to do more?
Good health. What do I need? I don't think I need anything, because I love what I do. I'm really, really passionate about what I do. I feel like a bit of a fraud, because this isn't work for me. It's
passion.
It's fun. I come in here every day looking out for the next new thing, the challenges, because it's all going to encourage growth and and creativity and coming up with something new. So it's my life. Apart from my children.
Now, that's where I was going to go. How do you manage work-life balance?
I'll tell you what I did. When my children were young, my work, I just sort of coasted along. I put my work on hold, as in I came to work after I dropped my kids off at school, and work ended when I had to pick them up from school. Because after I picked them up from school, it was home with them, homework, and so my work, what's the word? It was just on an even keel. It was after my children went into boarding school that the growth took place. So you've got to get your priorities right. You've got to decide what's important for you. And for me, my family it wasn't negotiable. It was not negotiable at all. Now they're all grown up. They're all doing their thing. This is my baby. So I've given this my 100% attention, because they don't require my 100% attention. When they did, they had my 100% attention.
Fantastic. I want to thank you so much for taking time out to talk to us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Around at those beautiful furnitures you make. And we hope to be able to come back and sit down with you when you go into the African countries and tag along and say, this is what made in Nigeria by a woman is like.
Thank you. Thank you very much.